Hey guys, my name is Gabby. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be filming a video called Books That Had So Much Potential. And what I mean by this is that these are all books that could have been 5 stars. They had all the ingredients that I love in a book to be a potential 5-star book, and these are books that I probably went into thinking they could be 5-star books because they have a lot of things in them that I really enjoy. But then they ended up not being as good as I thought they would be because they had a lot of potential, but then they just didn't live up to that potential. I have made this video once before in the past. I did this video a couple of years ago, but I'll link it down below if you're interested in seeing some more books that I thought had some really great potential but didn't quite live up to it. So the first book I have to talk to you about is A 5-Minute Life by Emma Scott. I feel so angry at this book because this book had so much potential to be great. And if you didn't know, this book follows this girl, Thea, who was in a car accident, and now she has one of the world's worst cases of amnesia because she only has a 5-minute long memory span. We follow from this guy Jim, who's going to be working at the residency where Thea is staying, and then he becomes her love interest. This book just started off so promising. It was giving very 50 First Dates vibes, and this book was really interesting. Like, it was going places. Like, part 1 of this book was so good and so interesting, and it was looking to be a 5-star read for me. And just because I love Emma Scott in general, I love her writing style, I love her characters. But then in parts 2 and 3, this book just completely ruins itself, and these characters become obnoxious, and the story becomes very like unrealistic, cliche, cringy, like what the fuck am I reading? So I feel like this book just completely ruined everything that I loved about it in part 1. This is like the ultimate a book that had so much potential. Like, the story was so cool until it became so cliche. Alright, the next one that I have is Again But Better by Christine Riccio. This one just, it had so much potential, okay? Because like some parts of this book, I was relating to it a lot in the beginning, and it was reminding me of Fangirl a little bit with like her inner dialogue and the way she would talk about having anxiety and the way like she hates that society puts pressure on us to like have relationships even though we might not be ready for them, or like there was so much about it that I loved in the beginning of this that I was like, wow, like this might be a new favorite of mine. And then this book just became like another typical annoying young adult cliche insta-lovey book, which is so disappointing for me because this main character started off being so relatable and so like down to earth, and then she became so boy crazy and annoying insta-lovey like the second she meets the love interest, and I was just like, seriously, dude? The next one I have is Inspection by Josh Malerman. This premise was one of the coolest premises I've ever heard. And it basically takes place in this world where boys and girls don't know that the opposite gender exists. All the boys live in one tower and all the girls live in a separate tower, and they don't know that the opposite gender even exists, which is crazy. And this is like a horror novel kind of about it. Shit starts to hit the fan when the boy Jay sees a girl and he like gets confused and he's like, what is that? What's going on? I feel like this book really had the potential to be great. Like, I was very invested in the beginning and I was like, what is this? Like, where is this going? Holy shit. It just, oh my god, this book is so weird. First of all, like, it's very weird, and it took some time to get into this because the writing style is strange and these characters are strange and their behaviors are strange and this whole world is just very strange. But like, oh my god, once you realize towards the end the reason why these people wanted to experiment having the boys and girls in separate towers, it's such bullshit and it's so insane. And I feel like this author made a huge oversight on something that like really bothers me. So I mean, I'll put a link in the description for my Goodreads review if you want to see what I'm talking about, because it's kind of spoilery, so I'm not just gonna like say it, but like, it was just so dumb. It was so lame. And the next one I have is The Friendzone. This is a book that I read during Romanceathon that ended up pissing me off kind of, and it sucks because I feel like this book did have so much potential because the writing was good. It was there was something there. Like, I did enjoy the chemistry between these two main characters. They had great romantic chemistry. Like, I wanted them to get together, but Oh my god, there were so many things that really bothered me about this book. The first one being that Josh is obsessed with calling Kristen the cool girl. She's like a magical unicorn that doesn't exist because she's hot but she's not crazy, and like she's not like the other girls. Like, oh my god, first of all, that drove me nuts and that was unnecessary, and that was the first like ugh thing about this book. But then we get the ridiculous ending of this book, like ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous ending of this book. This book talks a lot about infertility and how hard it can be to be with someone who really wants kids, and how difficult it might be to tell them like I won't be able to have kids, because this main character Kristen is getting a surgery to get her uterus removed because it's very dangerous for her body. Her uterus has cysts on them, and she doesn't know how to tell that to Josh because Josh wants a whole baseball team full of kids. This book had so much potential to be a great book about people who want kids but aren't able to have them. It could have been such an important, beautiful novel, but no, instead we get this fucking bullshit ending. Like, I was just so mad. The next one I have for you is Golden State by Ben H. Winters, which this is a book that I really actually enjoyed, like, don't get me wrong, but I feel like when I say that this book had so much potential, I feel like it could have really been like taken to the next level, because this one ended up being like a 3-star book for me, but I feel like it really could have ended up being a 5-star book for me. This book has such like Fahrenheit 451 vibes because it takes place in this universe where telling lies is illegal. This world is only truth and absolute truth. They have these police officers in this book who have this weird like sixth sense ability to detect lies, and so when they detect that someone is lying, they can go and arrest them, and like you can be killed in this world for lying. So like it's insane because it imagines what it would be like to live in a world of absolute truth. So this book is so cool, and it was so fascinating. Like, I feel like the first half of this book was so interesting, so investing, so well written, and so unique and crazy and cool. But then the second half of this book just got so weird, and like it just veered off into like another story almost entirely, and I just feel like the second half of this book really just like ruined it for me, which sucks because I do feel like this book had so much potential and it was really cool. Like, it's a really great idea. The next one I have is Waiting for Tom Hanks by Carrie Winfrey. This one is a romance novel that I was expecting to really like, mainly because this main character is obsessed with movies. And I mean, she's mainly obsessed with rom-coms, but she's like a film fan, and she's going to school, learn how to write movies, like as a screenwriter. And then it's about her going and working on this film set and meeting the lead actor of the film, and then having like a romance with the lead actor of the movie. I am a huge lover of movies. I'm a huge lover of like actors, and just the ideas in this book sounded really great to me, and I feel like if this was written a lot better, like I could have loved this book. Like, it could have ended up being a favorite of mine, but it was just so cringe, so unrealistic, so cliche, so insta-love, just like everything that I dislike in cliche tropey romance novels. The next one I have might be a little bit of a controversial one because it's Culty by Mariana Zapata, and I know that a lot of people really love this book, but like, ugh, it drove me nuts because it had so much potential. Like, I really liked it. I liked the idea of it. This book is a sports romance. It's like a soccer romance, and it follows this girl who plays soccer, and she gets the opportunity to be coached by this soccer legend, Culty, who's like such a big deal. It had all of the ingredients for a romance that I love because it definitely was like slow burn romance. It was not insta-love at all. But this main character was annoying as shit. Oh my god. She would literally like look at him and think he's so attractive, and then she'd be like, I'm just gonna think about poop to like not make myself turned on. And she's like, I'm just gonna think about him pooping, and like she would say that so many times, and I'm like, what are you, like 11 years old? Like, what? The fact that she calls him the German literally like every opportunity she gets, like 50 fucking thousand times in this book. And the fact that the character Culty, like, he is such an asshole. Like, he's so fucking rude, but like nobody cares because he's so hot. Like, he's just so hot, and he's like a legend in soccer, so like nobody cares. He's like a fucking asshole. And I just couldn't deal with the fact that this main character is 27 years old, but she literally acts like she's a 10-year-old. Like, The next book that I have is Providence by Caroline Kepnes. This book has one of the coolest premises ever. I thought this book was gonna be fucking so cool because Caroline Kepnes is one of my favorite authors as well because of You. This book follows these two young people, John and Chloe, and John gets abducted by this guy. He gets kidnapped. And then when he comes back from being abducted years later, he discovers that he has superpowers. But then he realizes that his powers are that he hurts anyone that gets close to him. And then it follows this detective who thinks that he's a serial killer that's at work. So he's like going to try and stop him. And oh my gosh, dude, this book was trying to be so many things at once. Like on the back, it describes this as part supernatural thriller and part love story. And honestly, it did feel like that, but it was way too much. It was insane. It was like supernatural, horror, thriller, like every genre you could think of was trying to take a place in this book. And I just feel like it was so convoluted and like it didn't know what it was trying to be. And John and Chloe were so cringeworthy. Like their romance was so annoying in this book. And if I was here for the romance and I was shipping it, then I feel like I would have liked this book a lot more and just put up with the rest of it that I found annoying. But like I could not stand this romance either. It was so cringeworthy and just basic and like ugh. Alright, and the last book that I have on this list of books that had so much potential is I Know Who You Are by Alice Feeney. This book is an adult thriller. So this book follows from the point of view of this actress, and her husband goes missing and $10,000 has been cleared out of their shared bank account, and she's trying to figure out like where he went and like what happened. Oh my gosh, the first half of this book, it was gonna be a 5-star rate for me. Like I was absolutely hooked, loving it. I was like, where is this going? Oh my gosh. But then we get to the very end of this book and I was like, what in the actual fuck did I just read? The conclusion of this book is definitely something that you have to suspend your disbelief for, because I was like, there is no way in hell. Like, I don't even know. I was just like, wait, what? Like, it was just so weird, and like the plot twist was like so like disturbing, and it like really got under my skin, and I felt like I needed a shower for like 20 years after reading this. Like, I don't even know why or like how to explain, but this ending was so weird and bizarre and just like, what? Alright, well, those are all of the books that I thought had a lot of potential but didn't quite live up to that potential. Do you feel the same way about any of these books, or do you feel like these books did live up to the potential for you? Or what are some other books that you feel like had so much potential but didn't really live up to how great it could have been? Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you guys soon in a new video.